Josh, welcome to Tucson. How would you describe the experience of being a player under Danny Gonzalez and also a coach?
Yeah, it's really cool. I mean, Coach Gonzalez, one of his elite traits is being able to relate to his players and relate to his coaches. He's a great person, first and foremost, a great father, great husband, and you see that when you first come into him as a player. So initially being able to build that relationship with him for the 2 years when I was a player back at San Diego State with him, you instantly saw how well he connected with the guys. So I was always attracted to that as a player. Like, he's a player's coach. Like, you can relate to him. And then, when he went off on his journey as a coach, left there, and I got medically retired, started my coaching journey to get the opportunity to come back and get back with him was a really special thing for me. It's a small world in this, and it's really cool when you get to be with people like Coach Gonzalez, that is a great human being, an elite football coach, an elite football mind. So getting back with him is something that's really special to me, and really a cool opportunity that I'm excited about.
And how would you summarize your playing career at San Diego State?
Short-lived. I contributed slightly on special teams, but I got medically retired in my third year, which was, of course, nobody wants to get medically retired. It's not what you go into, having an injury like that. But if it wasn't for that, I wouldn't be here. I got to get a jump start on my coaching career, and I got very lucky to be able to get started, and with Brady Hoke giving me my first official job as a coach, and I got to get a jump start. So getting that opportunity catapulted me to getting the opportunity to go to Syracuse, which then I went to Nebraska, and it led into something that's really special. And, in the moment, you're not happy about it, but looking back, I'm like, wow, I wouldn't be here with this amazing staff, with this amazing group of players. It's funny how it all works out. You just work hard, and it's kind of cool how things work out.
Michael and then Jordan, a couple questions. Number one, how did you know, or when did you know that you wanted to be a coach?
I can go back to, it was probably early 2004, I think it was the exact year. I can remember that because I remember my dad was dropping off the ballots at the ballot box, and when he came back in, he saw I had drawn up a bunch of plays in his notebook, his work notebook, for our flag football team. And it was like, normally you come back in, he's like, what are you doing with my work notebook? I got this for notes. And meanwhile, I'd taken all these notes. I was like, what do you think about this if we do this? So from an early age, I knew I would want to be a coach. I always was I was a decent athlete, but I was always elitely focused on the schematics of it, and I also love the relationships of it. I mean, coaches are great teachers, in my opinion. So I always knew I either wanted to coach at this level if I got the opportunity, or I would be a high school teacher and coach. And I think the great coaches are great teachers, and we just get to have a little bit more fun being able to be out on the grass.
How old were you when you were drawing up the plays?
Oh God, I probably would have been like 6 or 7 years old. So I was really young, but so I don't know if they were any good, if the plays were any good, but they were at least something.
And one of the things that Tay mentioned was this idea of, I think he said dominant contact, as opposed to catching guys. What does that mean?
Yeah, so dominant contact for us is both a mentality and a technique. So that's what we want to play with in the linebacker room and in this defense. So dominant contact, one, you have to have the mentality of, I'm running over there, and I don't run to the ball just because coach yells at me to run to the ball. We run to the ball, and we are going to strike people. We're going to play with violence. So that's the mentality aspect. And then the technique aspect of it is, how do you generate the most force on contact? So that's all the body position. That's what we're doing individual work. So it's both the mentality and the technique. So then it's a great coaching point for them to be able to hear, but you get kind of the double of that.
Jordan in the back right.
Hey, Coach. What are some of those impactful lessons you've learned from Coach Gonzalez that now, you saw him as a player, now you're passing them to the current players?
Yeah, I think it goes back to what makes this defense great, and it's a cool scheme, it's fun to play in, but we're great because we play hard and we play violent and we attack. That's what's special about it, and it's red line. It's cool that we have that, and Coach B, it's awesome. It's a great way of defining it, and it's that you have to be 100 all the time. You have to execute. So it's and you have to be accountable. So it's really cool to have that, but it's red line, and that's what it is. So that's what makes it special. That's what Coach Gonzalez preached as a player, and now as a coach, it's like, oh, I see that, right? It's never going to be perfect, but when you're always going 100%, when you're perfectly violent and you play with dominant contact, it's going to work out. So that's what it is now being able to just really have that same emphasis. It's the same things.
Jason and Justin.
Is this system this season similar to what you've learned and played under with Danny and learned from Tony White? Is it pretty much the same, or are there some differences?
Yeah, there's definitely, I would say the ethos is similar, but there's a lot of, that's what's cool about this defense is it was different year to year when I played in it, and that's the thing that I loved playing in it was every year our roster was different. So let's play to our strengths. as a team. So the coaches, it puts a lot of the onus on the coaches and lets the players, I remember playing it as a player and you just got to play free. You got to play fast, you got to play aggressive. The learning happens in the classroom. When you're on the field, you just go. So that's what's really cool. There's a lot of similarities with the defense I played in, but there's a lot of cool intricacies that have evolved, when he went off and did his thing. And when I was off doing my journey, it's really cool to have a melting of different schemes and the stuff they were running before we got here. I mean, there's some really cool stuff schematically that we can do. But there is a lot of the ethos that's still there, but it's a cool melting pot of different things and the best that we've accumulated over the years.
Do you find that maybe the players take a more active listening approach because you've played in this system?
Yeah, I think it definitely, initially you always have to build that trust. I think that's one way that I've been able to build trust is, I've been exactly in your shoes. I've run that exact blitz. I've played that exact coverage. So I think that there is that building of trust there. You don't take that for granted. You also have to build that trust that they trust me just on a personal level, that we build those relationships because they shouldn't care how much I know until they know how much I care. And I think that was really important for me early on, not just I played in this defense. They're going to trust me. I know this, right? That's ridiculous. So it was really important for me to build that trust with them initially. But that does give an edge for me and a deeper understanding for me for the last 10 years.
Justin and then Aaron.
Overall, though, what do you like about your group and what they've shown this spring?
I think that they are. First off, when I showed up, they did an elite job from the start. They all had notebooks. They were ready to go. They are really intentional with how much they care, and they want to be great. And as a coach, that's all you can ask for. Guys that come intentional every day, put forth that effort, and they do a phenomenal job of taking coaching points. If something I coach in the classroom, I can see them deliberately practicing it on the field. And we talk about that deliberate practice, right? You don't just go out there and run around, right? You're deliberately practicing on whatever that specific drill is, whatever the focus of the day is, whatever that is, you have that deliberate practice. So they do a phenomenal job of being elite in that sense. And that was something that, they were doing before I got here, and that was really special about them, and they work their tails off. They're a close group. We sit down, and I'm actually missing our fellowship. Normally after practice, we sit around and have lunch together, and we have some fellowship, break some bread. But they're a really close group. They're a fun group, a lot of different personalities, and they're all cool. Really, really good people.
Specifically Tay, I know you didn't coach him last year, but when you kind of break down the film, when you talk to him, what's maybe the next step for him to get better as a linebacker?
Yeah, I think that first and foremost, he is a phenomenal example of putting time in the classroom and allows you to play fast in the field. Like you'll see him breaking on passes before the ball's even thrown. He has an elite sense because he puts the work in. He's a elite effort guy in the classroom off the field, and he's an elite effort guy on the field. So he has been a great demonstrator of what red line should look like, what the standard is. So first and foremost, he does that. I think for him, there's always different things that guy's got to work on. For him, it's playing with, one of the things that we talked about was playing with that consistent dominant contact because he's a big, strong, physical guy, and to let it loose. He's going to be a guy that is going to be right more often than not because he's so smart and he puts so much work in the classroom. So now it's letting him kind of come out of himself and play with dominant contact, be that dude out on the grass because he's a great leader, and everybody respects him because of how hard he works and the work that he puts in day in and day out.
Aaron back left, and then Michael.
You spent time at Florida State, Syracuse, so you're pretty familiar with big-time college football environments. So what are you expecting or maybe excited to see this Saturday at the spring game?
Yeah, I'm really excited because this is a really cool deal. I mean, I've never been a part of a spring game that has the amount of stuff that we go on. I mean, we got a kid zone, a beer garden, a live band. I mean, it's going to be an Easter egg hunt to start out. Like it's a really cool full-on event. It's almost around a spring game as well. So it's really cool to have that. I mean, I've been a part of different things, and we try to do different things, but the idea with Coach B and how they come together and make this a fun event for not only the players to have the excitement, because players were naturally going to be excited. Okay, it's spring game, it's the last one, culmination of a lot of things. Coaches were excited about it, families coming into town, but then the community engagement to be able to engage with so many different populations, whether it's kids on an Easter egg hunt. After I think we got a movie for the guy, they're watching a movie together. Like that's a really cool deal, and I think it goes back to how Coach B. It starts with him and how he is. I mean, he is a elite caring about person. I mean, he cares about his family, he cares about the coaches, he cares about the players. And that's just another way that he shows how he cares about the community to put forth the effort to even think about like, how can we engage with kids? How can we engage with all these people? So between Coach B and Ben, like that's I think is an elitely unique thing that I haven't been a part of. So I'm really excited to have that for the players and also be able to engage in the community in that sense.
And I asked this earlier as well, but is this going to be been around a little bit?
Yeah, I've been around a little bit. So when we did the basketball send-off, we had some fans there, and it was cool to be interact with them. But it's also cool. Tucson's a cool community. Like I was wearing the Arizona T-shirt the other day, and I met a fan, and they were like, "Oh, are you a coach?" I was like, "Yeah," and we got to talk. So it's really cool. Any place you go to start meeting people in the community, everybody here has been super welcoming to me. Everybody's been really phenomenal. But I guess, the first structured one besides the basketball send-off, which was awesome. But this will be, I guess, the first structured one around football, if I'm remembering correctly.
Michael and Troy?
Chase Kennedy stood up a lot last year, but kind of more of an edge player. And I think Riley Wilson played a lot on the edge too at Montana. What do you see the roles being for those two guys?
Yeah, I think one of the beautiful things, and it kind of goes back to what I talked about in this defense, whatever their best traits are, it's our job as coaches to put them in the position to be most successful, right? So the defense, as a structurally, we're going to structure it to put our best 11 on the grass and put them in the best position to be successful. Well, we're also developing the traits so they can improve on to be a holistic player, because he does have some elite skill set, and we should encourage those. We should lean into those as coaches, and we should also develop those traits that still need to be developed. So he's been working his tail off. I think he's been doing a great job as a worker, and I'm really excited for him to continue developing and continuing to improve on the skills that he's really good at. Don't just take those for granted. Keep on developing those, and also improve on the other areas to make him a holistic, complete player in that sense.
Multi-part question. So you're originally from San Jose?
Yes.
Is that right? And was Brennan at Oregon State when you were?
Yeah, we just missed each other with the crossover, so he wasn't in San Jose at the time exactly. But we went to. It's funny now, when I got here, we found out that we went to rival high schools. And there's like a deep-rooted high school rivalry. So we joked around about that. But him, just his impact in San Jose, and it was the same thing when my dad had friends that were coaches in the area, high school coaches, and every time when they found out that I got this job, they were like, "Oh my God, you're gonna love Coach B. Like, he's the man." Like, so everything that you hear about him is absolutely true. Like the amount that, and I think I might have mentioned earlier, but the amount that he cares, it's truly special. And you feel that right away when you come into his office as a player, as a coach. I mean, that door's always open. He wants to welcome that, and that's what I think creates a really cool environment to coach in, to work in, and also to play for. You want to play for that guy that that creates an environment that is that welcoming. So I heard about him at San Jose, but we didn't exactly cross over.
And when you were growing up in San Jose, I think Dick Tomey was the coach there. Do you remember Dick Tomey as the coach? Did you go to any San Jose State games?
No, I wasn't. I didn't go to a bunch of San Jose State games. I remember as a Pop Warner, I played at the halftime or something. We did like a little scrimmage or something at one of their night games, I remember. But I didn't go to too many of the San Jose State football games growing up.
Any more questions? Okay, that's our time.
Appreciate you guys. Thank you guys so much. Thanks, guys.